national stage now for almost a decade. Someone who has entered that stage more recently is former Florida AG Pam Bondi, who is now Trump's AG nominee. And she was questioned repeatedly if she could remain independent of influence from Trump during her hearing. That was one of the main themes. Overall, what did you think of her performance this past week?
Okay, so I'm biased, but the disclaimer up front. I've worked with Pam. I've known Pam for over 15 years. I've worked with Pam from the beginning, from the idea that spawned her race for Attorney General and onto today. She basically delivered a very clear and simple message in that hearing. I am here to represent the people of the United States. I am here to make sure we have one tier of justice. I'm here to try to fight the weaponization of justice, which I think it's fair to say has been in play for far too long and impacting both sides of the aisle, and has also completely infected, Brittany, public confidence that Americans have in justice. And these, just like the ballot, if we don't believe in our electoral system, in the integrity of our electoral system, everything starts to fall apart. I think justice is as important as that, if not even more important, if there's a sense of unequal justice, depending on who you know, who you are, and who you support.
And I think it was an interesting moment during one of the questions. It was contentious between her and Senator Schiff, her and Senator Padilla, both from California. And she stopped and she said, I'm here for all of Americans. I will help you with the wildfires if there's crimes there. Senator Kennedy, I'll help you in Louisiana when we saw that terrorist attack on New Year's Day. Based on the hearings, how do you see her approaching the DOJ?
With fresh eyes. It's interesting. We talked about, Marco with all of his background and his skills, whatever. Pam, she was in office for 8 years. She was a prosecutor for 20 years before that. But in terms of the Department of Justice, she's obviously interacted with the Department of Justice as Attorney General of Florida. There's a freshness to it, and there's also kind of she shares in the mission. And the mission is, we're going to look at everything anew. We're going to make sure that the FBI is doing the things they need to be doing the way they should be doing it, with fresh eyes. And those things that are not fulfilling that central mission of doing it without, biasing it towards ideology or partisanship, whatever, if those are in play, we're going to take those out. We're going to change those things. And she said repeatedly during the hearing, when hypotheticals were thrown at her, don't give me hypotheticals. Give me the facts. We will sit down, we will look at the facts, and I guarantee you we will do everything we can to bring forth justice based on those facts that is blind to ideology, partisanship, and everything else. That, I think, came through loud and clear. The Democrats on the panel were really insistent on two things. One, are you really going to be independent of the President of the United States, right? I can tell you that Pam, from day one, as a member of the state attorney's office in Hillsborough County, Florida, up to this very moment, when she says law and order, she means it. When she says, I'll put my hand on the Bible and take an oath, swearing, I will uphold justice, she means it. That's first and foremost. I remember going to a graduation ceremony at Stetson University, where she was the commencement speaker to all these soon-to-be lawyers, right? How proud she was to be a part of that moment, because she takes the law seriously, right? The other thing, though, the Democrats went at, beyond independence, was whether or not she would be more declarative about the 2020 election. That, I don't know about you, drove me wild. I mean, she basically was asked her view on whether it was a legitimate election. What she said was she accepted the swearing in and the elevation of Joe Biden as president of the United States, and saw him as her president. At the same time, she was in Philadelphia and other places where she saw things happening in 2020 that were not right. Now, was that enough to overturn the election? That's one of the great ongoing debates. But she saw things that weren't right. That's what she was trying to say in that committee. So effectively, what her answer is, and which was not satisfactory to the Democrats who wanted to create a headline, it was, look, he's the president. I agreed, I hope everyone agreed he is the legitimate president. How he got there was everything was, say, kosher, that in the 2020 election, she would probably, in a moment of candor, say no. Was it enough to overturn that election? That, of course, is one of the great questions of debate. I don't think she has to answer that. I thought she was really good there, but I thought some of the aggressiveness by the Democrats toward Pam was unwarranted. I'd single out the senator from Hawaii, who I think almost was taking it personally and trying to make statement after statement as opposed to listening to what Pam was trying to offer as her response to the statement / questions that she was posing. America saw that as well. But the other thing you saw in all of that, Brittany, she gave no ground either. She's someone that not only wears her heart on her sleeve, she's got a very strong, tough, confident constitution, meaning, and she is all about the Constitution. And that's going to be very important for her in this job, not just as it comes to dealing with particular cases, but in reinstilling confidence among the American people that we can believe in our system of justice today more than ever before.